Hello, my name is Cronus Dare, and this is X4 Foundations. So, after the end of our last episode, we sat down with Mission Command for a more thorough debriefing, and Mission Command revealed that she needs something a little more proactive in her toolkit. Let me explain. She went down to detail the Terran Protectorate's strategic situation. Essentially, the Terran Protectorate has three branches of its military. There's the Terran Navy, which is responsible for security of the Sol system. There is Intervention Corps, which is responsible for going out and taking out threats in the network to Sol. Then there is the Terran Secret Service, which serves as the intelligence arm. Now, the Terran militia was an experiment by the Terran Secret Service to give them a little more proactive tool in their toolkit. Unfortunately, it is not working out as planned. What Mission Command needs is something that can go out into the gate network and serve Terran interests, but be also be a deniable asset in case something goes wrong. So we need to be not directly linked with Terra. Now, after we came back from our last mission, we had in fact established ourselves as an independent captain in the eyes of the Ministry of Finance. So, potentially we could parlay that to the rest of the gate network as an independent captain slash industrialist, establishing contacts throughout the gate network and working to further Terra's interests. In that light, we've decided to announce the formation of a new organization that's going to serve as a front for both the Terran Secret Service and the Terran Militia. We will actually be the Terran Militia, serving through us and under the command of Mission Command. So, I'd like to announce the formation of Terran Network Solutions, bringing Terran solutions to the Gate Network. Wait. Hey, Steve, what's with this graphic? Yeah, we can't be the Terran Network Solutions. That's too obvious. Yeah. You'll fix it? Okay. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties. Okay. Apparently we have the correct graphic now. There we are. The formation of Titan Network Solutions, bringing solutions to the Gate Network. Totally innocuous. We could actually sound like an IT company. So, what do we need to do? We need to establish ourselves as an independent captain. We also need to build up an industrial base to support our operations. So, at first, we're going to build up that industrial base here in the Sol system. Now, about the Terran economy. Compared to the Commonwealth economy, the Terran economy is extremely simple. So, everything in the Terran economy is made out of computonic substrate, metallic microlattice, silicon carbide, and energy cells. Okay? Now, looking at this list of wares, that's pretty much almost everything else that's made in the network. So what happens is the Terrans can take those four items and pretty much make anything from subcomponents to ship hulls to stations. The Commonwealth, they have a lot more intermediate steps. So it's more complicated, but it ends up being cheaper. For example, for computonic substrate, you need 4,000 energy cells, 2,000 hydrogen, 3,000 ore, and 3,000 silicon to make 98 computonic substrate. So, yeah, that's expensive, but it's also valued almost 10k credits per unit. All right, so that 98 units would be almost 100,000 credits at that price. So, the Terran economy is very resource intensive and it's very energy intensive. All right. Energy. Well, here's the problem. We are dealing with a single solar system. The further away you get from the sun, the less solar power you can generate, and everything in the X4 universe is powered by solar power. So, if you're near the sun, like say around Mercury, you have a massive 714% sunlight bonus. All right. So every one of your solar panels is worth just over 7 panels in a 100% sunlight sector. Okay? So that's very strong. But the further away you go, so out to Venus, 189. We can't see Earth yet because we don't have 20 reputation, but I believe that's 100%. Mars, 44%. Asteroid belt, 13%. And it just gets worse and worse from there. All the way out to the Oort cloud, where you have a massive 2% sunlight bonus. There's literally no point in putting a solar panel out here. So, obviously, the logical place to put a solar power plant is in the Mercury sector. Venus is an interesting alternative, but you get a lot more bang for your buck from Mercury. All right. And yeah, technically, if you use trade depots, you could ship energy cells from Mercury all the way down in a chain to the Oort cloud. However, we also have the Sagaris Pioneers over here, and Gaian Prophecy is a 208% sunlight sector. And the neat thing about Gaian Prophecy is it's within 5 jumps. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then going through Antigone space, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's within 5 jumps of everything from the asteroid belt on out. Mercury is within 5 jumps of everything out to Saturn. And the neat thing about Saturn is within 5 jumps of both the Oort cloud, Gaian Prophecy, and Mercury. So what we could potentially do is put a solar power station in Mercury, put a solar power station in Gaian Prophecy, and say we had a depot in the Saturn system. They could ship their energy cells to Saturn, and Saturn can distribute it throughout the entire Sol system. Another thing to keep in mind, the wharf for the Terran Protectorate is in Mars. Their shipyard is in Luna, which is off this accelerator from Venus. All right. So say we had a depot in Venus, that would be able to supply the Terran wharf and the Terran shipyard and be 1 jump from each. Now, why am I worried about jumps? Well, it has to do with how skills are managed in this game. So if I go to my personnel, hit manager. All right, I've got 1 3-star manager. All right, and that's Ryo Udia here, and he's managing our player HQ. Okay, he's almost a 3-star manager. Now, for every star, that means they can direct operations another jump away from their home system. 0 stars, they can only operate within sector. 1 star, they can go 1 jump out. 2 stars, 2 jumps out. 3 star, 3, 4, and on to 5. So in theory, if you have a 5-star manager in a trade depot in Saturn 1, that trade depot can reach anywhere in the Sol system. Very, very neat. Second thing to keep in mind about the Terran economy. Terran economy has three main resource areas. You've got the asteroid belt, which pretty much has everything that the Terran economy needs. Then you have the Saturn subsystem, which again has just about everything the Terran economy needs. Then finally you have the Oort cloud, which also has everything the Terran economy needs. So hypothetically, we could build manufacturing nodes off the resources in the asteroid belt, Saturn, and the Oort cloud. And hypothetically, if we had an ore distribution station in Saturn under the supervision of a 5-star station manager, he could distribute ore throughout the entire Sol system to any manufacturing plant, like, say, this computonic substrate fab in Venus, and supply them that way. So, to get our economy off the ground, the base in the Terran system, I'd say, would be energy cells. So we want an energy solar power plant in Mercury, a solar power plant in Gaian Prophecy. Next, I'm still debating on whether I want to do it in the Saturn subsystem or the asteroid belt. If I do it in Saturn, they can, again, go throughout the entire subsystem. But the idea would be to set up a mining operation with a mining base based in, say, Saturn, and that would start selling ore and raw resources all throughout the Sol system. So, like I said, the Sol system needs energy cells and raw materials. So first we'd be supplying the energy cells, and next we'd be supplying the raw materials. After we have that off the ground, we would start manufacturing wares. And initially, I'm eyeing Venus. Now, I don't want to do the whole one massive station that does everything. I've done that before, and it's useful. However, what I tend to find is unless I produce the food and medical supplies for the workforce immediately at the station, it's very bad about supplying itself from external food and medical sources. B, you can only build one module at a time, and some of those modules can take 15 plus minutes, which provides a bit of a bottleneck once you get to really, really big stations. So if I have a number of small to medium-sized stations with a trade hub as its center, the stations would supply the trade hub, and the trade hub would distribute the wares throughout Terran space as needed. And in Venus, it would be directly supplying the wharf and the shipyard, which are the main two demands for Terran building materials. Everything in X4 is about supplying shipbuilding. So, that's the basic plan to start. Now, while our industrial operations are kicking out, we will be going out into the wider network and raising our reputation, conducting missions. And the idea is we want connections and reputation with all of the factions. We're already up ranked 10 with the Ministry of Finance, which is extremely useful. So, Tiggy Republic, -15, they don't like us. Argon Federation, -15, they don't like us. Fallen Families are basically pirates, they don't matter. Free Families, God Realm, -15, -15. Activa, -4. All right. Activa is kind of an offshoot of the Argon. They're kind of a libertarian trade league. They're not a super important faction, but they exist. You've got the Holy Order of Pontifex, -15. They don't like us. Again, Ministry of Finance at 12 reputation. And with our promotion in place, we can actually buy military equipment from the Ministry of Finance. We can't really do anything capital ship wise, but hey, haven't met the Quetnauts, haven't met the Riptide Rakers. Sagaris Pioneers +5. We are going to work on that, especially once we get the Gaian Prophecy power plant up. Talati Company +7. We can make that better. Terran Protectorate. We're going to max that. Vigor +2. Yeah, they don't really care about us. Then Zyarth, we haven't really met them yet. So, initial plan, I, of course, want to max Terran Protectorate reputation, because, hey, we're Terrans. Next, my priority tends to be Argon and one of the 2 parented reputations. Reasons. Argon tend to be the most flexible station layout and station defenses. They also have excellent turrets for all-around use. Their turrets are frankly better than what we get from the Terran Protectorate. So I would like access to Argon turrets. The God Realm of the Parented and the Holy Order of the Pontifex. Well, they're important because there is a salvageable destroyer that exists in the universe that, unless you can take it to one of these places and get it refit, it's not super useful. So I like grazing them up. Plus, they've got a good plasma cannon, which is a nice large turret, which is very, very useful. Although I am running a mod which gives the Terran Protectorate a plasma cannon that's roughly equivalent to what the Parented got. In the meantime, I'll also be lifting my reputation up with Talati and Ministry of Finance. They've got very useful economy ships, so I'm not going to ignore those. So again, we're going to push everything up, and while we're conducting missions to raise our reputation, that will also be a very strong income source. Now, I'm here at the faction representative, and I'm going to need some things.
Hello.
So, hi.
It's good to see you, friend.
Let's see your blueprints. So, you need blueprints for station modules to build stations. You do start with some. You start with a small container. You start with the Terran energy cell. And you start with a pier and a luxury dock. All right, everything else costs. We've got 15 million credits. As you see here, 15 million credits is not going to take us far. But if we're frugal, the small storage, I can get those for slightly under 1 million credits. And we're going to need those for the mining stations. Eventually, I want to pick up the 4-dock T-Pier. This is actually a very, very nice module, and I will show you why later on. However, I don't necessarily want to put the 2.4 million credits into the blueprint for it yet, when we may not necessarily need docking capability of large ships just yet. So we're going to buy those 2 modules.
Good luck out there.
Yeah, good luck out there. And I'm going to come enjoy this view of Saturn like I was. And we're going to start building stations. So first off, you need a plot. So you go to your map, all the way down to the bottom on this left menu is Manage Plots. You want to create a new plot. You can choose the size of your plot. When you are creating a plot in faction space, you need a license. That license is more expensive the closer you get to a gate or accelerator. So, like I said, right on the gate, it's almost $500,000. Way out here, it's 64,000. So that's much more affordable. So we'll plop that down. Now, something I've learned, when you first put the station down, the bottom is where the build storage is going to face. You can rotate that, however. And as so, the build storage will face away from the accelerator. I like to have my build storage face away so I can tell which direction the accelerator is in, because the build storage tends to be fairly easy to see on the map. So we'd want to buy a license, because if we don't buy the license, we will be an illegal station, and the owner of said territory would not like that and probably shoot our property out of the sky. So we're going to continue. So next, we're going to put down a luxury dock. And neat thing, if you hit this cog here, that's actually, we'll shuffle it. Actually, shuffle modules right here. That'll place whatever the module you have first put down to start with directly in the center of your plot. So after I've done that, I will bring this all the way up till it turns red. I'm going to move it down fractionally. That's because there's one module I'm going to build on top of that. All right, next step. Before I put my solar panels in, my energy cell production, we're going to need storage. Now you've got container, liquid, and solid. Solid is for ore and silicon, liquid is for gases, and container is for finished goods. All right, so we want a container storage. So we're going to confirm we are currently at 300K. So next, we're going to put on our energy cells. And neat thing about this Terran production station is you can put 6 energy cell, well, not production station, the Terran dock, is you can attach 6 solar panels directly to it. And this copy module feature is extremely useful. You'll see these circles around it that will let you rotate the module in 3 directions, all 3 axes. And if you hover over it, it'll let you move the whole thing. Also, these arrows will let you pull it in that specific direction. Okay. So we've got 6 energy cells and 1 storage on a dock, which can dock small and medium ships. We're going to confirm those changes. And that's going to cost us 2.3 million. That's not bad. So now I'm going to save this as basic Terran solar station. All right. We'll save that. So this gives us room for expansion, but it's a nice way to start out. So we accept the estimate, assign or hire a builder. select that. And we are good to go. So what'll happen, Terran traders will come in and fill our resources up. And as resources come up, they'll start, the builder, once it gets here, will start building our modules. And they will build the modules in the order we put them down. So first the luxury deck, then the container, then the energy cells. You do want the container before the production modules, otherwise the production modules, without a place to store their output, won't do anything. Although some people like that as a strategy, to have all their production modules set to go, then put the storage on last. It's an option. Okay. So that's done. So, between buying the storages and putting down the station, we've 4 million. That's not terrible. Now, let's go down to Gaian Prophecy. So, we kind of want to put it in a central location. So, create new plot. And right about here would be good. We don't want it directly in this line between the two gates. So this should be good right here. Let's buy the license. Now, we saved our build plan from before, so I can just pop that in there and bam, saved us a whole bunch of time. Assign a builder. And there we go. And that will start building. Okay. Now, decision time. Asteroid belt or Saturn? I'm thinking the asteroid belt to start. It'll take our solar power stations a little bit of time to train up their station managers, but there are some shortcuts for that. And as they distribute energy cells throughout Terran space, that will increase the Terran stations' throughput and increase their need for raw materials. Now, the one concern with putting anything in the asteroid belt or mining in the asteroid belt is it's really the only mildly insecure area in Terran space. The rest of Terran space is extremely heavily patrolled. Asteroid belt can occasionally let the occasional pirate slip in, which really only affects traders. They don't bug mining ships. But the other factor to keep in mind with the asteroid belt is there is kind of a pest faction called the Ka'ak. If I go to the diplomacy screen, they're right down here. Ka'ak. And that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Otherwise, the obvious way to pronounce it's not very YouTube friendly. This is basically an insectoid hive race that don't like mining activity. And they can do FTL jumps. And all of the Terran sectors are protected from the Ka'ak, except for the asteroid belt. And the Ka'ak are very, very good at taking out small and medium ships and also at undefended stations. The Ka'ak are also potentially an issue in Gaian Prophecy and Sagaris. Less so in Brennan's Triumph, simply because there's no aura to attract their attention. So eventually, we're going to need to arm our stations in Gaian Prophecy and the Asteroid Belt just for simple self-defense. But in the meantime, we can do without. So let's go ahead and do our mining depot. This is going to be a little more intensive a build compared to the others. We'll put it right here. It's kind of central because we may need to go in any direction. I will rotate it. Oh, span a little bit. Let's see. Now you can check your placement by hitting continue, and that'll let you look out in space to see how everything's laid out. And yeah, that's pretty much where we wanted it laid out. So we can reselect it by license. Now we're going to start out with a deck. Bring that up to max, then take it down just a little bit. Yep. Now we're going to want and it flipped itself upside down. Normally it's not a big deal, but I can be a little OCD about that. So we're going to confirm those changes. And I'm actually going to need to make this a little bit wider. So to increase the plot size, we use one of these sliders. And we're going to want it to move it in the X direction. It's going to cost us a little bit more in credits to expand the plot, but it's going to be worth it. Next, I'm going to put down 2 more docks. So basically, we're going to want a lot of docking on our stations. And eventually, I will also do the same kind of setup on the solar plants. For storage, we're going to want a solid, a liquid. And I'm going to put a container on there last. The station probably won't need it, but if we wanted to, we could always use it as a transship point for energy cells. Alright, let's confirm changes. That's 1,000,000 credits. That's not terrible. Let's assign or hire a builder. That will do. And they'll get that started. Okay. So we've got 3 stations down and starting to build, and we've used roughly half our credits. And now at this point, we're going to save the rest of our credits because we're going to want to use that on ships. We're going to need miners and we're going to need traders. At this point, I will let things go. I am going to let stations build. As the asteroid belt factory gets closer to completion, I will queue up some miners. I'll show you how I do that once the time comes.
Awaiting orders.
Then we'll need some trade ships for the solar power plants, and so they can distribute energy cells instead of having to depend on trade ships coming to them. All right, In the meantime, I will go out into the network and start working on reputation. We'll cut to the next thing that is important. All right, be back soon. All right, and we're back. So, the reason I'm coming back is I found a very useful mission for the Argon, and that's to patrol Haktiva's Choice 1. This is a very nice mission to get because this is Haktiva's Choice 1, and there's a constant stream of Xenon that come through, and these patrol missions, you get more faction and more rewards for the more enemies you shoot. So we'll also be gaining reputation for Argon and Haktiva, and a whole heck of a lot of credits for this one mission. Very useful. And I think I've discovered if I shut off mouse steering while I'm on the highway, it saves me from skipping off the highway. Now, we are in the Odachi, and the Odachi is a very nice Corvette. It has these EM cannons that hit like freaking trucks. A little bit lower projectile speed, definitely lower fire rate, so you need to aim well. The Odachi's also a little bit slower than the Katana, but not by much. It's also much, much, much more maneuverable. And there's no delay to spool up the travel drive, so I can literally hit that and go instantly into travel drive. It's interesting, there's 2 more stations on this other side of the gate. I wonder if that'll also distract Xenon. Oh, it is distracting them. Alright, and the Talati want to promote me. Nice. Kinda hoping I would get this mission. From my Lost in Space patrols, I picked up a few missions to just kill random Xenon. Okay, that's very interesting. I don't think Haktiva are going to have any problem holding the system with 4 stations near the gate. That's very useful.
Thank you.
Just those little fights gave us +9 reputation with Argon. We can already dock at their stations now. And if you look, their ships are blue now.
Claytronics Factory.
Which means basically, they don't absolutely despise us. Okay. While we're waiting for more Xenon to appear, I'll head over here to this
Turret Component Factory.
This turret component factory. That was Playtronics. Turret component factory to drop another satellite. Very good. Ah, that's the Claytronics. Right over here. Yes, yes, yes. Very interesting. layout. So with 2 stations behind the gate and 2 stations ahead of the gate, the Xenon are spread out so they're not hitting any one station too much. Oh yeah. I don't think this system's going to be under much Xenon pressure for this campaign. Oh, my turrets are on defend. We'll switch that to tech fighters first. If they're on defend, they'll only shoot back if you get shot, and we don't necessarily want that.
SE.
Xenon infrastructure unit. There, we're gonna shoot it out of travel drive. This can their turrets can barely scratch our shields. All right.
Wyvern gas.
That is a split large gas miner. I don't know if you were able to catch it, but the red and black ship motif was very distinctive. Split vessels in general look very threatening. Why does it have...
Phoenix.
Oh, that's a scale plate Phoenix. That's why it wants me to
Thanks
shoot
for your
it.
help.
So, the Odachi actually does have the firepower to take down a destroyer like the Phoenix. So we're going to get in close.
Engine.
We cannot tolerate your actions.
There's one engine down.
Phoenix. Engine. Incoming missile.
Okay, they've got missile turrets. That's not fair.
Phoenix.
Okay, we're gonna pause and figure out where the missile turret is. Dumbfire. Dumbfire. Oh, they're dumbfire missiles. Okay. Okay, so as long as I don't...
Incoming missile.
Gotta stay moving. Oh, it's within plasma range of a station. That's not going to be good for it. All right.
Explosion imminent.
And we're going to back off. Hopefully I get credit for killing it, but I might not.
Danger.
Yeah, we were a little close. We took a little bit of shield damage. Okay. Otherwise, we're in good shape.
Alligator gas.
And that's a Zyarth mining ship. So basically, This gate
Jump gate. Unknown
connects
sector.
to Xenon space. And on the far side of the Xenon sector, there's a gate to Zyarth Patriarchy space, split space. And you know what? Let's head in, drop a satellite, run back. What's the worst that could happen?
Danger. Entering system. Arca's Cascade.
This is Tharka's Cascade. Very, very red. Okay. Let's get back through the gate before those S&Ms start bugging us.
Entering system. Atikva's choice.
Neat how you can go through a gate through either the front or the back, but they always send you out the front on the other side.
Engaging.
Unknown ship.
Fallen families. Okay. So fallen families are kind of the split.
We're in for it.
They're the split pirate faction.
You're wrecking my shield.
Yes, I am. 'Cause you're not wanted around these parts.
We cannot tolerate your actions. Stop your attack immediately.
What are you talking about? Okay. Be nice if this gate got a little bit busier.
Alligator gas.
Now, doing combat like this is always useful.
Thanks for your help.
You get money, you get reputation. They also drop stuff that you could sell at traders, and later on in the game may be useful for mods. Mods are basically upgrades you can do to your ship and its equipment to raise you up a little bit over and above stock performance. It's generally one of the advantages you as the player can have. Oh, hey.
M.
And it's targeting me right off the bat. Neat. Now, despite the low refire rate, you see those EM cannons of the Odachis are very accurate. Alright, so we're up to plus 12 rep with the Talati. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Requesting permission to dock.
Oh, hello.
Docking permission granted.
Nice. Got it as it was trying to get into travel drive. Let's boost to get going in its direction. There we go. It's trying to go back into travel drive again. We just shot it out. Now it's turning to fight. And it's a bit late. These PEs like to boost away if they take enough damage. They generally don't boost far.
M.
Nice. Fortunately, I think that infrastructure unit got away. Basically, if they get onto the super highway, you're never going to catch it. Oh, Mr. Xenon M, I think you're in trouble. Nice.
Awaiting orders.
Thanks for your help.
Alright, we're up to 0 rep with Activa. So they don't hate us. Honestly, if you're lucky enough to get one of these patrol missions near an active Xenon sector, they are very, very lucrative.
Thank you.
Ah, the PE distracted me from the SE.
SE.
Alright, can I catch up? Oh, it shot me. The check engine light means that you cannot go into travel drive. Yeah, I think it's gonna get away. Maybe. Got it! Heck yeah! Oh. Get off the highway. Gotta shoot it before it gets on the highway. Else we'll lose it. Haha, nice.
Thanks for your help.
Chimera.
Zyre. Nope. We don't want to be enemies with Zyre, so we're not gonna shoot at them. But
Not die so easily.
Defense drone.
we're fighting with an Argon defense drone. Station's gonna start shooting at them too.
Thanks for your help.
Get lost.
We're up to +8 reputation with Argon, just from doing this one mission.
SE.
Hello. Came through in travel drive. But we weren't able to tag it. So one thing you can't do is shoot your guns while you're boosting. So if you're chasing a target like that, you actually have to take off your boost to fire your guns. There we go.
You make a big mistake.
It wants us to patrol Tharka's Cascade. That's the Xenon sector. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. +3 with Haktiva. Now, Haktiva aren't super important to get reputation with, although they do have a couple unique ships that you could get blueprints for. But generally, there's no reason to raise your reputation with them super high.
Split want to leave now. Split wipe you out.
Alright. We're almost done with the patrol. Nice. So, we are +10 with Aragon.
Pay for that.
And we got almost a million credits from that. So, if we look at our transactions, before we started this mission, we were at 8.5 million credits. In 20 minutes, we earned 3 million credits. Nice. Look at all that green. Alright, now is a nice time to check on the status of our stations. Okay. So, excellent. This has actually started producing energy cells. I don't know if it started producing. It's probably building that. Yes, it's building it, but it'll be ready within a minute. Nice. Working on the storage for the Mercury solar power plant. And it looks like our ore station, our mining station, is running behind. So it's got the credits it needs to buy resources, just no one is selling resources to it. Well, hopefully we can get that to change. Alright, so what we want to do: personnel, display skill for manager. Now, I don't necessarily want to take my captains off their ships, but I put a crew on that Magpie I bought at the casino, and they've already got 1-star managers. So work somewhere else for me. Assign. And work somewhere else for me. Assign. Unpause.
Entering system. Argon Prime.
And we've got illegal goods. Great. So we are going to go to our inventory, drop all illegal items. That drops them in a container, and I can have the container picked up later by one of my ships.
Autopilot. Disengaged.
Later on, once the player HQ is active and you have teleportation, illegal items aren't quite as big of a hassle to run around with. So, the Odachi has this neat elevator. Lift. Very cool. Hello.
It's good to see you, friend.
Give me my rank, please.
We've been watching your work with great interest and wanted to reward you for it. I'm pleased to present you with a new rank amongst our organization. Of course, this rank comes with great benefits. These benefits are tied to the rank, so if you lose the rank, the benefits go too. But with your record, I'm sure we won't have to worry about that. I hope you find these rewards fit into the work you've done and make the most of them. Oh, and you may also find that certain organizations under our jurisdiction now have interest in you joining their ranks. Once again, thank you for your
Can I have a
efforts. We look
chiropractor
forward
look
to
at that
working
neck?
with you more in the future. Good
No?
luck out there.
Okay. So first we're going to go to Argon Wharf. Upgrade repair. Go to their turrets. And currently their flat turret is 82k. We're going to cancel that. We're going to check the equipment dock. And the same flat turret is 53k. And their satellites are also much cheaper. So my suggestion is, when you can, change out equipment and upgrade your ship at equipment docks. Also, the AI tends to use the equipment docks a lot less. So, whereas the wharf would use up the resources building stuff, the equipment dock may still have accessible resources. Alright. Now Arthera. So let's explore through that gate. And hey, we found a way to Bright Promise. Between Bright Promise and 18 billion without having to cut through Argon space. Hooray! This Falcon is finished, and what I like to do, I had the Guillemot Vanguard explore these inner ring systems, and it didn't have any satellites at the time, so I didn't bother. Once the Guillemot Vanguard is finished with its current tasks, I'll probably have it go to the Argon equipment dock now that we can use it, and have it pick up some consumables. Now, one thing to keep in mind: consumables from the Commonwealth nations are going to be cheaper than Terran consumables, simply because the components that go into them are less. So once you have access, I would suggest getting your consumables from Commonwealth sources. Alright, and at this point I think we're rapidly approaching the end of the episode. What have we accomplished? Well, number one, we have raised our standing across the network. We still have a few places to go. For example, we have not met either any of the split factions, but any of the Commonwealth nations across the ring, we are at least plus 10 with now. We have expanded our economic standing. We have our Icarus Solar Station, 2 small storage, 8 solar panels. We are producing 171,000 energy cells per hour. We can only store 200k. As you can see from the graph here, it is producing a lot of income, and as soon as it makes a sale, it pretty much directs it directly into our account. We have our Cassandra Solar Station and Gaian Prophecy. Pretty much the exact same layout, except for only 1 small storage. It is producing 49,000 energy cells per hour on 8. Difference is the 208% solar efficiency rather than what Mercury generates. This is generating income, just not as quickly as the Icarus Solar Station in Mercury. Then we have our Sirius mining depot in the asteroid belt. We have 3 docks, so plenty of docking for our miners. We have 1 small storage of each. We probably at this point need to expand that, but we are low on hydrogen. Otherwise, stocks of everything else is good. And it is going out and selling into the market. So we are providing direct economic impact to the solar system. For example, this green is the demand on energy cells in the Mars sector. As you can see, ever since our Icarus Solar Station came online, demand has tanked, and we have raked in the benefits of that. Now, well, the other thing we can see is there is a shortage of metallic microlattice. So that is something we could potentially start working our way into. Metallic microlattice may not necessarily be the highest return item that would be Computronic substrate. However, this is where the demand is. And on that note, thank you and goodbye.